President and Senators, thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm really grateful that so many of you have found time to be here and to engage in this conversation about different systems in Western democracies. And it's true that we, as Danes, have a real democracy. We cherish the cooperation with the US, the core of our cooperation, the way in which the Danes view the US as our most important strategic ally in the world, because we share these fundamental values, cherish the freedom of choice, of respect for human rights, rule of law, real democracies as we have it in the US and the EU and many other European countries, and certainly also in Denmark. So we Danes, we are probably one of those tribes in Europe that loves the US, the culture, the music, many new creations, all the smart IT companies that you constantly produce and make all those features that we really utilize. My daughters, when here in the US, they watch the same programs and TV series that they would watch in TV in Denmark, because it's the same sort of performance that they put on. So our culture are very, very sort of the same, having the same interests, seeing the same trends. And still there are differences in the way we organize our societies. And I think one of the challenges for societies today is how we structure our societies. What is the role of government? What is the role of government in healthcare, in education? How do we organize our societies to be sustainable, competitive units of the world economy, facing a new global challenge wherein, fortunately, a number of previously poor countries are all of a sudden making success and inroads into the global economy with great competitiveness and ensuring their citizens to enjoy an increasing standard of living. So I think it's a very important political question for our democracies. How do we run these societies? If I should maybe try to describe Denmark, we're an old tribe. We've been around for more than 1,000 years. We have a monarchy, we have a queen. We will have the visit of her son, the Crown Prince Frederick, here in June to exhibit some of the Queen's art. But we are also a democracy, as I've said, so we have an elected government, we have a parliament, we have a parliamentary European system, and we actually do governance in a very special way in Denmark, because we always, almost as a tradition, constantly have minority governments that are coalition governments trying to run the country. So you cannot, as a government or a prime minister, really impose a lot of things without securing a majority in parliament. But you have to secure majority and agreement in your coalition first before you get to the parliament and get support from other parties in the parliament to have the majority that you need to make sort of broad reforms in society. Today, as I've said and hinted at, I think the challenge is to adjust or to reform our society. We Danes believe that we are relatively good by European standards in reforming our welfare society. And I think that is very, very complicated. Simply because when you acquire as an individual, as a citizen, some rights, it's difficult to change those rights and do participate in a new political system, in a new agenda. And the welfare society that we are talking about is one in which we have a relatively big public sector, but also a strong private sector. And we believe that the division of labor between those two and the partnership between private and public is a key to success in society. I think that it's fair to say that we believe in Denmark that we have one of the most competitive private sectors, a very competitive labor market model in which you can actually hire and fire easier than you probably can here in the US. We think that we've tried to reduce the bureaucracy that take in being an entrepreneur, trying to make it very transparent, predictable, what you have to do as a business person, so your investment horizons are quite well defined, and that's extremely attractive for businesses, both Danish and foreign. So we have to have this dynamic private sector from which we can finance also the welfare society run by the government. That is our kindergartens, our schools, our universities, but also our healthcare system that is primarily sort of public, state-run, region-run, municipalities used to have small hospitals. We've tried to centralize that and rationalize that and get bigger entities, bigger hospitals from which you could have better public health service rendered, because you have bigger units, you have better specialists, you can live up to the standards and the expectations of the patients that are ever growing and increasing. The health sector in our country uses about 9% of our GDP. In the US, I think the figure is 17. But I think it's safe to say that we get almost the same health output. So you pay a little bit more than we do for our health standard. And that, I think, is attributed to the different sort of structure of the health system. You have many things in your health system that we don't have and will not have because it is a government-run system. It's probably difficult for you to imagine that you wouldn't have insurance, because we have that as a right of birth. In Denmark, you have universal coverage, free access to health the way that we do it for everyone. And that gives us quite a good sort of feeling secure. No insurance, but the government runs it. Of course, somebody has to pay for it. We do that through taxes. Many Americans would argue very high taxes and very sort of prohibitive taxes for the supply of labor. We think that it's a good deal. Apparently, most Danes are very, very favorable to the way that they see the things, namely that they get so much public service rendered that on top